Hi, Lambda family. My name is Sherry, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a white femme with long hair, glasses that I'm not wearing at this time, and a striped button-down shirt. Behind me is a pair of bookcases shaped like the steps of a staircase and about half of a giant ottoman. This is from a story called Virginia Woolf Only Eats Oysters. "You're coming to dinner?" the mother asked her strange and distant daughter, turning to her after a long silence where they had been laying on the beach. She asked it as if she was never sure of her own motherly authority, or had never really known what to do with its weight and power in her hands. She stacked their collection of used plastic cups into a tower of used plastic cups, then started shuffling them all between her fingers in a little arch, showing off her talent for shuffling plastic cups like a deck of cards. "They're having oysters tonight," the mother said. The girl put down the book by Mrs. Woolf that she had been reading all day and considered her mother's question. She had always wanted to try an oyster, and now she would have the chance on this expensive vacation that she knew her mother could barely afford. Oysters and clams, fresh out of the bay. Oysters, their inner softness, an O'Keeffe landscape, seemed like the most feminist food you could possibly eat. Oysters, really, were the ideal thing to be. Oysters could do as they liked. They were magicians of their very own gender. Born a boy, but in a year they could become a girl, and if they so fancied, they could turn right back again. And when they died, they became the rock, their uncountable crushed shells making new homes for the watery world. The girl tried, as she thought of this, not to be angry at nature, not to rage with the usual list of things that made her rage, that she had been made small, that she had no easily lockable shell, no muscled defenses, that she had been made, in her very shape, in her very architecture, to be vulnerable. Had been given a set of bones and skin that barely covered all the basic needs. Birth, for example, or lifting boxes at Target. Nature had done well with oysters, had granted them freedom, all the foundations of egalitarian comings and goings, but when it came to humans, nature had gone with the starkest imbalance. "I am so over sexual dimorphism," she had muttered once, and she had watched her mother giving her that "I have no idea what you're saying" kind of eye. The girl had gone through a long phase with that particular vocabulary, dimorphism. She knew her mother had written that word down. The girl realized that she had spaced again. Her mother was staring at her, the great ocean behind her, with that concerned look of someone who realized too late that they had birthed an alien. "Dinner, totally, yes, I can't wait." The girl tried to smile. Her mother was overdue for this smile. "Good," the mother answered as she stood up and brushed sand from her thighs. "Go back to your book. I'll take a walk." Then the mother strode off in a fast clip down the low tide shore, as if she could not take one more silent moment on that blanket. The girl watched her mother stand and walk away before she could say anything more, before she could say finally what had turned her into this alien over whom the mother had worried, stared, for whom the mother had researched internet forums, recorded her findings in a journal, read bestsellers in teen parenting, betrayed fear. The girl had dreamed of him again the night before, in the strange dark of the hotel bed, the tall, bushy-haired boy, an on-again, off-again friend who had been alone with her in the basement that one Sunday, at first just playing some video games. The girl had dreamed of it as she never wanted to remember it. Every smell of body, just how cruel a hand can be, how you could not move when someone was so much stronger, how you could not scream when he had said, "I've got a lot of friends, you know." And suddenly, the boy had gone from the dream, in the way that scenes of a dream just blow away and rebloom like an ocean's mist, and in his place was no one else but Mrs. Woolf. The girl knew it was Virginia by her eyes, by the shape of the jaw, by the petticoat and the black lace-up boots, by the brilliance of her voice, amused and sad and sharp with pride in its own logic. "The same thing happened to me," Virginia said, her words a melody of sound unlike any other the girl had ever heard before. Even in a whisper, the sound was both wild and well-ordered, both grand and humored by little things, like the behaviors of moths, both cocky and panicked, joyful and terrified, somehow both male and female. It was a voice that felt too much and all at once. It mirrored something in herself, reflected it back to her. Maybe, she thought now as she stared at the ocean's edge where her mother walked farther and farther away down its shore, it was the kind of feeling that you could only find in the silken, brain-wild voice of books. And surely, the girl thought, Virginia Woolf only ate oysters.